Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to another Friday Live. I'll be crafting with you today using the Let It Snow suite, a fun holiday themed or winter themed suite from the holiday catalog. I'm just updating my iPad here so I can see your comments. As you join in, be sure to say hi. Let me know that you're watching so I can say hi back. It's always nice to know who's watching. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know. Here we go. Okay, make sure the sound is off. Good morning, Mary Liz. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling better. Okay, so we are going to start like we do every week. Well, let me do an introduction first. Good morning, Kathy. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. And every Friday I come live to you with usually a quick and easy project. They're usually pretty simple. And you always have the opportunity to win the project or a project every week. Good morning, Alice. So last week I created this fun fold, and you can check out how to make this either by looking back at my Facebook Live videos or, good morning, Christine. I know this suite is so cute. Either looking back at my videos on Facebook, or you can check them out on YouTube, or they're always posted on my blog as well. Okay, so the way that you can enter to win get entered to win a project is for every comment that you make, question that you ask, whether it's during the live or afterwards on the replay, because I understand that not everybody can watch live, but you can always go back and watch the replay. If you have questions or comments, I may not always get to those questions or comments right away when you post them, but I always go through them when I'm trying to figure out who gets entries, okay? So you get 1 entry per comment or question, and then you get 5 entries if you share the post or the video, all right? So I've got everybody's name in here for last week's project, and the lucky winner is Sherry W. I think she commented on YouTube, if I remember correctly. So I will contact her and get her mailing address. Okay. All right. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, I'll just give it a minute and see what we're dealing with here. Actually, it might be too bright. Nope. Oh, very crooked. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, let's move this over a little here. Okay, all right, so we are crafting with the Let It Snow suite. I adore this suite. The paper is so, so pretty. Sorry, I'm getting my screen caught up, and I hate it when it's crooked, so I'm trying to make sure it's straight for you guys. The paper is so pretty. It is a specialty DSP, and it's got this beautiful glitter on some of the patterns. Like here's one of them here. I've shown you this before because we've used it before. But it's got this beautiful glimmer in it in some of the patterns, and there is something about Coastal Cabana and Real Red. Those two colors together, I don't know. I absolutely adore those two colors together. So we are going to use some of the products from this suite. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm calling it a fun fold card. I don't really know if it's a fun fold card. I basically call anything that is not just mounted on a regular, just half a sheet of cardstock, scored in half and then folded. Basically, I call anything that is not that a fun fold. So this, it looks like just a regular card, but look how it opens. So I don't know if you'd call this maybe a barn door card. I don't know. If anybody knows what this fold is called, please put it in the comments, because I don't know if it has a special name or whatever, but it's a little bit different than just having a regular card front. I mean, it looks like a regular card front from the front, but then only half of it opens, and it's so simple to make. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. My card base is just a standard size, so you can see I haven't scored it or anything yet. So it's just half a sheet of cardstock. Oh my gosh, this is still crooked. It's driving me crazy. It's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer. And, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to line it up with the 4 1/4 inch line. So I've got my 8.5 along the top, and I'm going to line it up with the 4 1/4. So just as if I was going to score a regular size card. Okay, but I'm only gonna score it. So this is my scoring blade. I'm scoring it just past the 3 inch mark, okay? And I'm not being too particular, because I'm gonna end up slicing to the 3 inch mark. So whatever I've scored above the 3 inches will, thanks for sharing, Jean, will get cut anyways when I cut it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cutting blade and I'm going to bring it down to the 3 inch mark. Now, one thing that you want to note is the blade is actually in the center. So where this raised part is, it's actually got a little score line in the actual blade itself, like in the plastic part of the blade. That is where the blade is. So I want to line that little score line up with the 3 inch mark on this part of the ruler. Hopefully that makes sense. So I've got that, okay? So now it is scored up to the 3 inch line, and then it's cut from the top down to the 3 inch line. I know the snowmen are adorable, aren't they? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over, because this is the top of my card, and I'm going to line that up with the 3 inch mark, and I'm going to cut to where I've cut. So just line it right up like that. And then there's my card base. So see how simple that is? Alice says, since the retreat, I'm missing my stitched nested label dies and 4 black stencils. Nobody has said that they have anything extra. I can put it out there and see if anybody's got them. I'll send out an email. I was going to send out an email to, oh, hang on, I'm thinking of a different retreat. Yeah, but I'll send out an email and see if everybody can check their stuff and see if they've got anything extra. Okay, so there's our card base there. Simple. This we're going to save, because actually let's do this first. So that way we can get that out of the way. So I am using the layering ovals, and I'm using the largest scalloped oval, and I'm going to cut that out using my bake shop. Okay. So I'm just putting that on there. It fits perfectly, which works out really well, because then you're wasting so very little. And you don't have to add something else to your scrap bin. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my scrap folders get filled so full. Okay, so now I've got my scalloped oval. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to add that to the inside. Used a little bit of Tombow. And just center it, so that'll give me about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And then we're gonna decorate the outside. So I have now I'm going by memory because I didn't jot down any notes. Excuse me, a 2 1/4 inch piece by 4 inch piece of DSP. And this patterned paper, like with the strips of the snowmen along the, they're just a whole bunch of strips of snowmen. It's perfect for this. It fits perfectly. So there's that, and then I've got a piece of shaded spruce, which is the green that is in here, because you gotta love the coordination of everything, right? This piece measures 2 3/8 by 4 1/8. So this is gonna give me just a little bit of a border of the green showing all the way around the edges. So you can just see just a peek of that green. One thing I do love about Tombow is it allows you to kind of straighten it. You have a little bit of give there. And then I'm going to add some more adhesive on the back of this, and then this is going to go on that front little panel. Okay, so then I have a little bitty border of that Coastal Cabana showing around the edges. So cute. I mean, it's adorable just like that. Okay, but we need to step it up a little bit. So what we're gonna do is I've gone ahead and I've actually cut out 2 of these. You'll see why I'm using 2 of them in a minute. This is the largest oval from the stitched ovals, or the stitched shapes framelits. And we are gonna stamp our snowman on this one. Okay, let's cover this up here. I'm looking forward to meeting you too, Amy. The snowman on the right is a good get well. Yeah, that would make a good get well image, wouldn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to stamp him. I need to stand up here. On here, like that. Okay, and actually while we have our ink out, let's stamp. I've got a little strip of Whisper White, and I'm going to stamp Happy Holidays. And this is from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set, because I wanted a greeting that was a little bit smaller than the greetings that come in this stamp set. Okay, and while we have it out, let's do the inside. So the inside, I've got my second oval here, and I'm stamping From Our House to Yours. And I'm going to stamp it right in the center of this oval. Okay, so all of our stamping is done now. Move that stuff out of the way. Okay, so now we're gonna color our snowman in. And we are going to use blends, of course, because that's my favorite. So I've got a few colors here. I've got Pumpkin Pie Dark and the combos Real Red and Shaded Spruce. Is it supposed to be really bad tomorrow? I've got a thing that I'm supposed to go to. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be too bad. But, I mean, with the rain that we had this morning, I'm just hoping it dries. I don't know if it's still raining out there. I'm in the basement, so I can't tell. I'm hoping that it dries before it starts getting too miserable, because if it freezes and then snows, that's just going to be terrible. Okay, so I've colored his nose in with Pumpkin Pie, and now I'm using light Real Red, and I'm just going to color the top of his hat, and then some of the stripes on his banner. And you can see I'm not being too, it's not perfect, but I will go over it again afterwards. I'm just adding a base layer of color. Okay, so that's the light, and then I'll do the dark. 20 centimeters of snow? What? I hadn't heard that. Oh, man. Why do we live here? I find that as I'm getting older and older, I ask myself that more and more. Before, it didn't bother me before. But I don't know. It must be just an age thing. You have less tolerance for things like that. Anybody else agree? Okay, so now I'm just filling in and pulling that darker color to the edges and making sure that there's no white space. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the shaded spruce, but because this is so tiny, I'm going to start with the dark, just because I don't want to put too many layers, because then it will start to bleed. So I'm just adding a touch of the dark. I guess I probably should have started at the top, not the bottom, but Amy, you ask yourself that every winter? Yeah. Yeah. I asked myself that a lot this summer too, because we didn't have much of a summer to enjoy. I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to go away, so we did get some summer. Our fall was pretty nice though. I do love that we have 4 seasons. I just wish that winter wasn't as long as it normally is. Okay, so then I added some light shaded spruce in there. Now I am going to use some of our Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. So this is part of that suite as well. What you want to do is you want to give it a good shake before you use it. It is really runny, so there are some tricks to using this and having some success to it. So give it a good shake. And then what you're gonna do is you need to be patient. So you don't wanna squeeze it. If you squeeze it, you're gonna end up with big blobs on your project. So just let it come down on its own, and you can just give it an ever so slight squeeze just to get that little dot out there. I mean, obviously if you wanted to do like all along the bottom here, then you could squeeze just a little bit harder. But if you just want to do these dots of snow, you just give you're just barely squeezing it. So this is what it looks like. I'll bring it up close so that you guys can see. So it just has the tiniest amount on there, and that's really all that you need. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring in my heat tool, and we wanna heat it up. I find that heating it up from underneath prevents it from, because it is so liquidy, prevents it from kind of pushing it off to the side so you get streaks of it. I mean, when the dots are this small, it's not that big of a deal, but if you have larger amounts or bigger daubs of it, then heating it up from underneath will prevent it from, like, let's say you had a big dot of it here. If you heated it up from the top, if you weren't right above it, then if you were off to the side like this, it would blow it. So it's going like that. So it's going in that direction, whichever way it's blowing. So heating it up from underneath prevents it from moving, okay? So I'm gonna grab my heat tool, and I'm really hoping that this stretches far enough so that you guys can see. So you can even do it from underneath until it just starts to turn. And then you can heat it from the top. Okay, so let's see if you guys can see this. You see how it's starting to puff up? There we go. So can you see that? You see how it's got that 3-dimension? It's really cool. Love that stuff. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to our scallop. And I like to, whenever I heat anything, if it's just somewhat warped, which this is just a little bit, I like to put adhesive all the way around the edges, and that way it will flatten it. and you won't see that warpage. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word or not. There we go. Okay, and then there's one other thing I want to do because the snowman needs a little bit of shimmer. So I am just going to use a little bit of our clear Wink of Stella and just along the right side of the snowman and just underneath each of the snowballs. I'm just adding a bit of shimmer. It's a Sherryism. Oh, I like that, Mary Liz. Okay, so now we are going to add this to our card. Now for this one, it worked out really well that I could put it in between the two snowmen, although he got covered. Unfortunately, this guy's gonna get covered, but that's okay. I could put it off to the side. Actually, let's do that. Let's just cover the one. So we're gonna do this one off to the side. Okay, and I'm going to put dimensionals underneath here. So I'm just gonna put 3 of them, kind of like that. So does anybody have any plans this weekend? Hopefully not to travel too far if we're gonna get miserable weather. Okay, so now we've got that, and then let's work on our greeting. So I am just gonna angle cut this like that. And I've got a little strip of red glimmer, just a really narrow strip. And Mary Liz says, not now. Okay. So, and then I'll angle cut that as well. I want it in the center. There we go. Okay, so then I'm just gonna follow that angle and trim that. And then I'm going to add dimensionals to one side because it needs to be popped up on this side, but it can be flat on this side. So you canceled your class? Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's put it above so we're not covering his face. There we go. Okay, and then on the inside, you can stamp a greeting here. Like I would just strategically plan it so that it's either below here or behind the scallop so you don't see it when the card is closed. The other thing that you could do is you could take a strip of DSP and you can add a pocket here and then use it as a gift card holder on the bottom. You could easily do that. But what I decided to do was just add, I wanted a more finished look on the inside. I didn't like this seam here. So I'm just going to add this second oval with the greeting to the inside. So I'll do it with flat adhesive on the bottom and then a couple dimensionals for the top, just because remember this is popped up. So I want the inside to meet that level and not kind of be uneven. Let's turn this way. Oh, look at that. I put the dimensionals on the wrong side. Oh no, I didn't. It just didn't seem, huh. Why doesn't this seem even? Oh, there we go. Okay, that worked. All right, so now it's nice and it looks much more finished than it did before. And that's it. Like that's how quick and easy that card is. Isn't it adorable? And it's using pretty much all of the same supplies as this month's Heartfelt Card Kit class in the mail. Sunday is the last day to sign up for that class. So if you're interested, I will post a link in the description above with all the information, or if you're watching on YouTube, it will be below. But basically you get all of the supplies to create 6 cards and a little treat holder. So like I said, I'll post information to that. Oh, and let's do our envelope too. Okay, so for this one, I did the striped because I had no more of this, or not a piece not long enough for that. So I did the striped. Now for this one, should I do the stripe or should I do the trees? Because we're using, it's a different pattern. I normally try to keep them consistent. The stripes, I think, are just pulling in the colors, but I could do the trees because it is from the same paper pack and the colors are the same. So what do you guys think? Stripes or trees? Trees, Amy says. Trees, Mary Liz. Teresa says 2 weekends ago they had a heavy wet snow in northern Alberta. Went without power for 30 hours. Oh my gosh. Well, let me see your... Won't let me see the rest of it. Where do you live, Teresa? Northern Alberta. Okay, let's go with the trees because it seems like everybody's going with trees. Wet snow is the worst. And then if it freezes, oh, it's terrible. The joys of living in Alberta, hey? Okay, so I've added adhesive to the envelope flap, and now I'm just lining up the straight edge of my DSP with the edge of the envelope flap. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, and now I'm just gonna take scissors and cut around. So now we'll have one of each, so we'll see what everybody prefers, the trees or the... I do like the trees because they are sparkly. I always hate flipping over the cardstock when one side is a specialty DSP. Okay. I love doing this to my envelopes. It just makes them look so pretty. It's so nice to have a pretty envelope to go with your card, your pretty card that you put all that effort into. Yes, it will make for a miserable Remembrance Day. We haven't decided if we're gonna go to the parade. I'm not sure if my dad's going or not, because my dad was in the military, so sometimes we'll go to the Remembrance Day parade in St. Albert with them. But if the weather is miserable, I'm not sure that we'll go. It's not really fun to stand outside in the cold. Well, yeah, Barb, nothing like furnace repairs. Thankfully, it's not too cold. I mean, it's good that it happened now and not like when we're minus 40. Okay, so which one do you prefer? Stripes or trees? I think they both look good. I think either one will do. So pretty. I think I'm going to make a few more of these cards. They were really quick to make up. I just don't know if I have any more of this pattern paper. But, I mean, you could use pretty much anything. It's kind of fun. All right. So, thanks so much for watching. You guys stay safe. You like them both, Christine? Oh, Barb prefers the trees. But she said both are lovely. So, you guys stay safe this weekend. Hopefully we don't have too much snow to shovel, and I will be back live on Friday, and I might hop into my VIP group on Tuesday and do a Facebook Live. So I'm going to try to do 2 Facebook Lives a week. One will be exclusive to my VIP group, and one will be for anybody who follows my page or anybody who wants to watch. So if you are not a VIP member, be sure to request to join the VIP group. It's just the Stamped Treasures VIP group, and it should be right on my page. If you're looking on my page, you should be able to see request membership or something along those lines, and you can do that. Yeah, so I will see you either on Tuesday or Friday. All right, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.